You are listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to Cult Talk Net's Thanksgiving Feast. And we are on the main course of this 3-course meal we've laid out for you this holiday season. We are bringing you 1987's Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yes, thank God.
Yeah, we just came off the cheese ball hors d'oeuvres.
Hors
Hors d'oeuvres.
I believe
That is
silent.
Thanksgilling 3.
I'd say it's a cheese ball.
And
right?
I'm sure you all
Thanksgiving
have.
is a cheese ball.
I'm sure you have plenty of room left for that little snack we started things off
Just
with
a little
last night.
snack of greatness.
Thankskilling was that thing that Great Aunt Bessie bought that she's not sure if she put her dried candy in there because she has Alzheimer's.
I fell asleep. Sorry, that was a long sentence.
Before we get going, I'm Ty.
Bailey.
Ben.
Jerry.
Deidre.
And Bailey, the real
No,
one.
I'm Michael.
Oh, Michael.
I said your name. You say mine, and we move
No,
on.
this opening has just gone too
Eric's
here.
And who's last?
Eric's in the background.
Oh.
So we've decided to bring you this Thanksgiving Day special here from Cult Talk Net. This is available on all Cult Talk Net feeds, Cult of Campbell, Cult Talk Conspiracy, and Cult of Lore, as well as youtube.com/Cult Talk Net. And this is our big celebration of Thanksgiving. And what better movie to do than one of the rare Thanksgiving comedies,
Due
Trains,
date.
Automobiles.
Oh, that's always due date.
When I was watching this, I was like, man, like Due Date basically is kind of like a modern interpretation of it.
Yeah,
Rip-off is the word you're
rip-off.
looking for.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. That movie
Instead of
with
a
Robert
dead
Downey
wife,
Jr.
it's a dead dad. You know, it's a whole.
Yep.
Rip-off.
Yep.
Dude, you just ruined the ending.
It's got Robert Downey Jr. and
If they haven't,
Everyone
Zach
who hasn't
Galifianakis.
seen it.
for anyone that hasn't seen Plane, Trains, and Automobiles, I don't know why they look up our review first.
It came out in 1987.
Yeah, I mean, they've had
So,
plenty of time for spoilers.
I've seen out plenty of time, but I haven't seen it, so yeah.
Me neither, but I could
you
figure
just
out what was going on by watching it.
Yeah. So this, of course, is one of the John Hughes movies. John Hughes, big filmmaker in the 80s and 90s, brought a lot of classics. I don't think anything he's made isn't considered a classic. I mean,
you're going to be hard pressed to find one that's...
And
that's
I think so.
And I would argue none of his stuff is like clever, I guess. It's just, it's very straightforward. Like the wife is dead. And just his writing is just like real humans. I don't know.
It's
I don't
really
know.
human and it's like really
Relatable.
comforting. Like you can watch some of these
Yeah.
movies and it's like comforting to watch. They're like,
Yes.
I don't know. It's some of his movies just warm.
I wouldn't say he's shot for like clever though. He wouldn't try to be like a clever writer. He's like, this
Yeah,
is a good
he's-
story
he's-
of people.
He's not
No, it
Kubrick.
touches
He's
those
just
true
John Hughes.
emotions.
Well, I don't know. I would argue that there's a certain amount of cleverness in that his movies could be considered preachy because they all have kind of moral lessons to them, and he really is trying to teach most of his characters a lesson through his stories, but he doesn't beat you over the head with it. So
Right.
I would
Right.
say that definitely takes an aspect of cleverness for sure.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's a good flick. I mean, in all
And-
honesty, it really does capture like the chaos of holiday travel because I hate traveling on holidays.
Oh yeah.
Listen, I've had some shit travel days, but nothing like that.
Oh, no.
Right. Yeah.
Everything goes wrong.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Traveling across country is especially bad, especially when you're moving over a holiday like Christmas. That's a story we'll get into later. But I love John Hughes. There is no wrong that John Hughes could do. That is my man. He is a cinematic god. And I agree. It's just comfort. It's just
Yeah,
a
they're very good
comfortable-
movies. They're all like just wholesome movies in the end.
And he's really good at examining real people in situations and then kind of bumping up. you know,
And the way he kind of
the
like peppers in
situations.
like the Christ allegory is very subtle,
Shut up.
but it does. But Eric luckily has found it. And
I mean, just listen to this list: National Lampoon's Vacation, Mr. Mom, 16 Candles, Weird Science, Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Pretty in Pink, Some Kind of Wonderful, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, She's Having a Baby, Uncle Buck, Home Alone, Beethoven, Dennis the Menace, Baby's Day Out. Like, Jesus.
Baby's Day Out, man. I used to see that movie.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
That
I
movie's
remember I used to
fucking
love
hilarious.
the Boo Book.
Man,
what
I
it's
knew
called.
it.
The Boo Book. Yeah.
I knew that was the same
Did you
house.
get Beethoven?
I knew that was the same house.
Home Alone.
Yeah.
Yep,
As soon as I
Home
seen it, I was
Alone
like, man, that's the same
Yeah,
house.
I knew it. Home Alone house.
They used
Just missing the statues in front.
Yeah.
they used footage from Airplane ! For one of their shots of the airplane. They
Oh,
were in or
nice.
something
That's
like that.
smart.
Yeah, they recycled that.
Anyway, we'll run through some of the stuff. It was released on November 25th, 1987. It's written, directed, and produced by John Hughes himself, starring Steve Martin and John Candy. I'm going to give a shout out to Ira Newborn, whose music, because I actually really like the dramatic score on this.
I love that theme song for this movie.
Runtime is a nice, brisk 92 minutes, so you're not in there real long.
Yep.
Budget was $15 million, and anybody want to guess the box office?
I
looked at it earlier. I can't.
Everybody looked it up.
If
so
you haven't looked, go ahead and give it a guess.
Well, Jerry, Deidre, do you have a guess for the box office? What was the budget again?
$15 million.
So how much did it make?
32.
31.
Okay, this is not the price. Personally.
49.5 million.
Motherfucker.
Quite a.
That's what you get.
Damn it.
So it definitely was a hit. But I mean, at about this point, a movie's coming out with Steve Martin, John Candy in it. Like,
oh yeah, man, it was a good. The 80s had such good movies just in general, especially with like the crop of actors they had back then with the Aykroyds, the Murrays, the Martins, the Candys, all those. Man.
Well, I mean, and they actually had to work for what they had now. Like everything they had was, I'm gonna go ahead and say 99.9 because I'm unsure, but practical. Like all the effects. Like I mean, we didn't see effects here, but like I don't know. I love 80s movies like a lot.
Yeah.
We've been kind of on an 80s movie binge here lately, and I keep looking back at it and I'm like, I love it so much. But you're not gonna find. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'm not gonna say a single bad thing about this movie because it's by John Hughes and I've already stated how I feel about him.
Yeah, I think you're right. Everything was practical in this. I think.
Yeah, I think so. I guess who's the modern day equivalent of John Hughes?
There isn't.
There had to, what's this generations that they would feel would like
They
who's
just don't make them like they used to.
Who's just writing all the hits right now?
There isn't one.
Man, yeah. There's definitely people that write hits, but I don't think they're
not
like,
with that
memorable.
frequency.
Yeah, like
though.
you have like the Russo
You know,
brothers,
I think-
but I don't think their stuff really holds up.
No, writing's really suffering lately in movies.
Mm-hmm.
Guillermo
del Toro.
He's pretty
Del Toro,
consistent. He's pretty consistent. As
He's
far as
consistent,
things go.
but I don't know if he's on John Hughes level. But as far as like for our time, I think him and then definitely the Russo brothers, I think they would be kind of up there, but I don't think they're at John Hughes level.
John Hughes wrote he wrote 3 movies over the weekend, and he was like Home Alone and Breakfast Club, or I don't know. There's some
And a lot of
writing movies in a weekend. That man.
yeah, and a lot of Hughes movies. I know I watched an interview with him where they do take place in like a similar universe, like a shared universe.
Yeah,
like he does acknowledge that they are kind of all meant to take place in this same.
Well, yeah, that's what I was
world.
looking at here. He just like write what you know, so it makes sense that it's all in the same universe because he lived by that as a writer. It's like don't make up anything, just write what you know.
Yeah.
So everything he wrote is something he was close to in some way.
But this right here, one of the few Thanksgiving movies outside the Thankskilling franchise.
Yeah.
But we definitely have to cover this, so I think we should talk about it here in our next segment. I don't know how to transition here. What's a good way to transition?
Ben, this was your pick. Go.
I like it.
So, who here has seen Plane, Trains, Automobiles prior, or what is your first memory if you have seen it? So, let's start with Eric.
My first memory, I was probably a kid. I have bits and pieces of childhood memories of this movie. Like the car burning, and then like I just remember being really annoyed as a kid with John Candy's character. I know. I was
Eric was such a prick little kid.
Relating to Steve Martin, like, oh, he's so annoying. Oh my gosh! But then you love him by the end of the movie, even as an audience member, like that with that frame of mind. So I was very young when I saw this for the first time.
I thought I might have watched parts of it before, but I don't think I've ever watched
None of it?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it. Just commercials or snippets or something.
Were you
but-
maybe mixing up with Tommy Boy?
No.
Oh
I've
my
watched Tommy Boy
gosh.
plenty to not mix it up with that.
I feel like I haven't seen this in a while, and I feel like some of the stuff I was remember from this was from Tommy Boy.
No,
Vice versa.
I watched Tommy Boy to death. I wouldn't confuse the two at all.
Man.
Deidre.
I've never seen the film. I'm not heavily involved in 80s movies, but mostly because I don't really like a lot of the actors at that time. I think a lot of movies in that genre are hit or miss, and they don't translate well to modern generations. Like
Just a bunch of sexist pigs, if you ask me.
No, not necessarily. Like The Breakfast Club, glorious.
Yeah.
But try St. Elmo's Fire. There's a lot of characters that aren't highly relatable. There's a lot of
Yeah, I think
movies
yeah.
transition differently.
Yeah,
I'm very big on the 90s, and I'm not a huge fan of Steve Martin's work, but I think John Candy was an incredibly relatable, sweet, endearing, if somewhat, what's that word I'm looking for? Characterized. He's like a character of a person rather than a
Like
whole
Otis
ass. Yeah, he's not a whole human being. He's simple, he's innocent, he's endearing, he's very likable. I found it very sweet. So I think out of all the Steve Martin movies which I've watched, probably this one is definitely my favorite.
Steve Martin, for some, I respect him like he is a hit star, but he was always hit or miss for me. Like I couldn't watch any Steve Martin film. I don't know.
I'm
He's
that way with
heavily
Chevy Chase.
slapstick.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Chevy Chase is like that
Yeah.
too with me.
If he's not playing Griswold, like I'm pretty much out.
No, I liked him and
I guess he's hell to work with though too.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
no, he's a well.
Isn't Steve Martin known to be kind of hard to work with? Not as bad as Chevy, but
No.
like,
no, not on show because I watched a whole podcast that what's the guy, the creator of Rick and Morty,
Oh,
Dan
Harmon.
Dan
Yeah,
Harmon
Harmon,
did a
yeah.
whole
Is he good?
podcast on because he did a Community,
Yep.
a TV show with Joel McHale and how he was a
Which are some
like
good
him and Joel
episodes in that
McHale did a whole
show, too.
podcast
Oh, yeah.
just talking about how
How
they basically just were openly burning the bridge because they had no intention to ever work with him and were just kind of like talking about all the hell he put them through. It was
Oh, yeah.
pretty crazy. Yeah.
just fuck off,
It was-
Chevy.
It was
Mhm.
a pretty big mess. Yeah, it got. You could see it in the story how hateful it got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they started treating his character kind of badly.
So when did you
Oh,
watch
yeah.
this, Jerry?
I have a vague memory of a long time ago when I was younger, and just
Before the beard?
yeah, definitely before the beard.
Oh, okay.
Like I was sitting on a floor, I think,
Oof.
and I remember seeing Steve Martin's just white hair and being like, "Why does he have white hair?"
He's
so
always
young.
he's had to have always just had it, right?
Yeah, he's had
Absolutely.
white hair for
Absolutely.
pretty much the majority of his life.
Yeah.
At least a career anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why is
Yeah.
he so mean to that guy? But that's that was a while ago.
Yeah. Floor sitting Jerry. Ben, were you floor sitting also?
Yeah, definitely. This was an early on one. I've always been a John Candy fan. Most of his movies, the ones that people know, like Great Outdoors, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Uncle Buck. I also like Delirium and some of the other ones that's slightly less known, but I've always been a John Candy fan. So this was, in my opinion, this is probably his best movie. Uncle Buck is
Uncle
probably
Buck's
a
pretty
close.
good.
It's probably a
Yeah.
close one, but I think this one slightly takes it. And I'll really quickly tell you why I think that is because I read a couple of stories where people met John Candy just like sitting at a bar, right?
Right.
Every story that I've read about where people just happened to meet him, it wasn't like some setup thing. They described him as being very sad.
Oh,
and
yeah.
one story, and I don't know how true this is. You never know how true
Right.
these stories are, but just how he thought he apparently in this conversation with this person kind of talked about how the only reason why he thought people thought he was funny was because he was fat. And so he was really kind of depressed about it. And I feel like that's probably true. Most comedians are sad people, right? And in that delivery line that you get at the beginning there, where he's like, "You want to hurt me? That's fine." I think you get maybe one of the only times in his movie career where you get to see a little bit of that.
I don't think any of his movies, did they really play on the fact that he is fat though? I don't think there ever really was.
I mean,
one.
they never really,
not like a Chris Farley.
Yeah, I
level,
don't feel like
you
he
know?
was
No,
ever cast
no.
like Chris Farley
No.
was.
And one of the things that helped out was that John Candy was pretty tall. You could make references to him being like a big guy, but when he's standing next to his co-stars and he's like a foot taller than them,
Right.
Yeah.
it translates a little different.
Yeah. Even the like hotel situation, the bed sharing was just more about like you're sharing a space, that intimate
Yeah,
space
they
with a
didn't make-
stranger, and
Yeah.
not really to do much
No.
with his.
Yeah, even on the plane, they could have easily stabbed at it, but like,
Right.
no, they never really. I can't think of any role that he's had where they really stabbed at his weight in any way.
Yeah.
No, but comedians always kind of have
Well,
that,
yeah.
that
I can
negative
understand him
voice.
thinking that though, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So I just think that gives it the edge. We get to see a side of him that I don't think you see in other movies,
Yeah.
even if just for a moment.
Yeah, because Uncle Buck, I think he has the same caliber of acting in that for the dramatic scenes.
He's
even.
incredibly consistent.
But yeah, that's probably like a real moment. Get to see how
It feels like it to me.
Bailey.
I think my first time watching this, it was Ben and I's first Thanksgiving together. And we sat down and watched it. And I didn't even know who John Candy was at that point.
Was you floor sitting also?
I don't, maybe
It's
at
a
one
good
point during
place
the
to watch
night.
This movie is just good to watch sitting on the floor. I
I
don't
mean,
Makes you
hey, when
appreciate
you're-
it more.
When you're digesting all those Thanksgiving goodies and everything, and you're eating that piece of pumpkin pie, maybe you're drinking a sparkling Welch's grape juice, like I would have been.
You mean you don't want a pumpkin cake?
Pumpkin cake could be a thing. I
That's
would
a
love
thing,
a
but you'd
pumpkin
rather
cake.
a pie, wouldn't you?
I want to try the cake now.
That's because
Okay.
pie is vastly superior to cake.
Yes.
Tyler,
So
we can't give Bailey a
I
chance.
was definitely a kid when I watched this. Definitely a kid. Because I used to have like a lot of stuff on VHS. So I'm pretty sure this is one of those movies either I watched on VHS or saw on like TV. Like saw like on TBS or something like that. But I know I definitely watched it very young.
A weird thing I kept. Did we talk about you watching this, Eric? Yeah, we talked about you. A weird thing while I was searching things about this movie is like people kept like searching how many F words were in this movie.
Oh,
For
Well,
some
there's that
reason-
one. Well, there's that one scene where he just goes ham on it.
Yep.
Yeah, because I was just like looking up things for the film. I was just like, why does people care so much about how many F words were in this movie?
Because they don't drop it at all until like that one
Until
moment
that,
when it's
yeah.
like every other word.
And I think I found a number on it. It was like 19
yeah.
in 60 seconds.
I think because at that
Impressive.
point it could almost be kind of like a family movie at that point. Maybe.
I mean, it was rated R.
yeah, but I mean,
Probably.
But just
even
for
then,
that one
Yeah.
scene.
yeah, even
if
then,
they
I think
dropped
up to that point, it did feel like kind of like a wholesome family movie, a quirky,
Yeah.
road movie. But then all of a sudden, there's that one scene where he just drops.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. If you
know,
just cut
fuck
that
like
scene
19
out.
times.
It's still no. It still is like you're not meant to sympathize with him in that moment. He's meant to be an asshole. It's okay to teach your kids, like, hey, when somebody's being a prick, this is the stuff they say.
Maybe that's why that scene was included, just to like emphasize that this man is definitely the asshole in the film. There is no getting around it. He just walks in and
Yeah,
lays into
like,
a woman who has nothing
sure.
to do with the situation.
Although I have to say, her talk on the phone, I would have spazzed out too. I'm not saying that I would have been right about it, but I would have.
Okay, but she had like 30 seconds on the phone before she put that down.
That is 30 seconds longer. You are at work, madam. Put your damn foot. You're sitting at the desk.
You can tell you're a millennial.
Oh, no. Do not take personal phone calls in my office. You better be stepping outside for that.
You can tell you're a professional.
My problem is I've never
Time is money.
I've never been at a job where that's been okay.
No.
I'd have got my ass ripped.
But yeah, I'm shortcutting it for television though is easy because literally if you just cut that scene out, he just
PG.
goes from just
they
like
do.
Yeah.
They
yeah,
cut it
it's
out for
a-
TV.
it's-
Yeah.
I don't think you lose anything in the film
Oh,
other
no.
than just emphasizing he is the asshole.
Well, and that he's fraying. He's getting more and more.
Yeah,
like,
it is like a
he's
breakdown moment,
escalating
isn't
his
it?
stress levels.
You know what
yeah.
the problem with cutting that scene is though for the movie? When you cut that scene, you cut the fact that she fucks up their credit cards. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
later when you watch it on TV
Uh,
and that scene's gone, it really does make it look like Dale
That wasn't-
stole his credit card.
That
No,
wasn't-
the
Oh, no,
credit
that wasn't her.
card
That
switch
was-
happened
that
at
was the
the
motel.
That
Yeah,
was
that's
the
the
very
motel.
beginning.
Yeah, the only thing you like, I'm pretty sure in TV they just cut it with he walks up there, she like they stare, and she says, "Can I help you?" And I'm pretty sure it just cuts to him walking, frustrated through the airport after that. I think
Yeah.
it's just kind of like an implication that things didn't go his way.
Just a tidbit. That's the same lady. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the modern. Well, I guess it's not modern day anymore. Like 2005-ish, Mickey Mouse Christmas trilogy. She will play like the voices over top of like Santa's, like the intercom voice over Santa's
The
workshop.
3D Mickey?
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch
See,
it.
I know her as the secretary from Ferris
Bueller,
That's
yep.
why-
They all think he's a righteous dude.
Yeah.
He's a righteous dude. It's kind of not Minnesota, South Dakota. I've heard.
That's
of.
in Minnesota.
That's
Minnesota.
yeah, she definitely sounds
Definitely
like a
Minnesota.
Wisconsin, Minnesota.
So, and true, me being here, we get facts of the film. Are we ready for facts of the film?
Drop them.
And
Drop them, brother.
yeah, and we've already been dropping spoilers, so spoilers.
Yeah.
The film was inspired by a true story.
wow.
That sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a whole paragraph about it.
Inspired by true story can mean anything. Someone flew on a plane once. Inspired by true story.
Inspired.
That's-
John
yeah.
Hughes inspired by this trip on a plane.
Yeah, he flew on a plane once on Thanksgiving and got delayed.
And had an annoying person. sitting
Yeah.
With your philosophy being write what you know, it probably was a shitty plane ride.
Oh yeah.
He's like, you know what would make this shittier?
As if I was just stuck with this person all.
I hate flying in general. I think I know it's a very quick way. You know, obviously I it's part of my job, but like I just think flying is just the
Oh
fucking
god damn it!
worst.
It was him just having a shit flight too.
Yeah, that's what-
I just
well,
finished
yeah.
reading the paragraph.
Inspired by
he
a
was
true
flying
story.
from
That's
Denver
what it
to
means.
Chicago.
Did he have a
It's in Chicago.
Yeah.
Did he have a
You-
talkative, annoying?
That's
yeah,
probably what
just
it
a
was,
misadventure and shit. Yeah,
That's what
just-
there's a difference between
So-
inspired by a true story and based on
Yeah.
a true story.
Yeah,
but
but-
here's what I like about that is that he looked at this probably annoying person that he encountered on his trip and like found the humanity in the guy.
spun
Yeah.
them into a
So
good.
I like that.
He made
about him.
himself the
Yeah.
asshole.
I imagine it's
Yeah.
kind of like one of those things where you're thinking like, man, I'm really annoyed by this person. Like, but what is making them think this is the correct? This is okay behavior. 'Cause
Right.
everyone's got a different way.
Or
problem
what
raised,
if he
so, yeah.
was? What if he was the annoying guy and he had somebody snap on him?
Oh, and he's like,
Oh,
put
that would
himself in those shoes. Oh, yeah.
I've done it.
Yeah.
Better Call Saul's Michael McKean makes a brief appearance.
Who the fuck is that?
I don't know. I never
Mike?
watched. I was hoping you all watched Better Call Saul because
As
I
in
never
tough?
watched.
Oh, I'll bet he was. Though. Mike,
Because I don't.
The-
Michael
the fixer
McKean
guy?
as Jimmy
Yeah, the
McKill's
fixer,
ill-fated brother Chuck.
See, the big cameo in this for me is Kevin Bacon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kevin
I did
Bacon
not
having
expect
a-
that to
yeah,
see
having
that.
a very. I forgot he was in this movie. I totally forgot he was.
He had like such a
Oh, I
special-
think Michael
Yeah.
McKean was
2.3 seconds.
the guy who pulled him over. The cop who pulled him over.
Who?
Oh, okay.
Ah,
That
okay,
cop-
okay,
that-
gotcha,
that's Michael McKean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, he had a longer scene than Bacon.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
Bacon
He didn't
didn't
have
have a
a
line. He didn't have any dialogue.
he
he
Bacon
just.
never lies.
Yeah,
Ran.
but Bacon, he
I think
just
he's Better Call Saul.
you can use him as like a sinister asshole looking character with no lines. And it
I've
works.
always thought outside of Tremors, I've never liked him as the good guy in anything. Outside of Tremors,
Stir of Echoes was pretty good.
yeah, he just has a face. His face he looks like a bad guy. I don't know.
he
looks,
does have
looks,
a bad guy face.
He looks just like he looks arrogant and douchey just from his face. But
Well, we've got the men's opinion.
yeah,
I feel like you could pluck
Eric, give
Kevin
me the
Bacon
runtime.
from like a 1950s greaser film or era, and like it would be fine. Like, I definitely feel like Kevin Bacon gives off the vibe of the bad boy, but I loved his little cameo in there because I believed him 100%. I'm like,
yeah,
that's
he would
somebody
definitely
going
be the
home
guy
for
to
the
do that.
holidays. I don't give a fuck about you.
Right.
Like,
I wonder
Alright,
how the rest
and-
of his trip went.
probably better than this.
Wait for the sequel.
Yeah.
All right, Eric, hit him with the runtime.
Okay, runtime of 92 minutes.
The original cut was almost 4 hours.
Jesus
I
Christ.
want to watch that.
Ooh.
I'm not sure.
Hang
I
on. We're shouting out the editor then, because good fucking job,
well, I
Paul
imagine.
Hirsch.
It was a 145
Excellent.
page script.
I guarantee
Planes,
there's a
Trains,
lot
and
of stuff in that first night that they stay in the hotel together. There's a lot of stuff they cut because there's things they mention like the beer exploding, them getting pizza,
Mhm.
and all this that you don't see. But they just mention like the beer thing. I'm thinking like why didn't they show that? But it's probably just so minuscule, at the
Yeah.
beer exploding. I also read that one of the big things got cut at the end was a subplot where Steve Martin's wife suspects this all being a ruse and him cheating.
I knew it. You could
Which-
tell by her reaction.
That first call from Wisconsin,
That first call and,
Kansas.
and her reaction when he comes home.
Yeah.
It's like you really were with the guy. This guy just whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, except that first
Right,
call
I
from
can see
Kansas
where
where
that
he
got
calls
cut.
and tells her like, "I'm stuck in Kansas," and she's like, "You're flying to Chicago now. You're in Kansas. What's going on?" Like,
Yeah, I could see that being. Yeah, it'd be a. hell
so
of a subplot.
apparently there was a subplot where the whole time she's thinking he's running around on her.
I'm
Yeah.
glad that got cut because if they had added that into the film, it would have really taken away from like the parallel between
Yeah,
his wife.
exactly.
So have you ever heard, without saying it right off, have you heard any other names that could have been instead of Steve Martin and John Candy?
No.
I would say Murray and Aykroyd.
No, but that would have been interesting.
Oh, I think Dan Aykroyd plays a great sympathetic guy.
Yeah, imagine the film this way: if it was Tom Hanks and John Travolta.
Whoa.
I wonder which way because I can see Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is very wholesome, but I don't like John Travolta at all.
I think
Like,
John
not-
Travolta
not
could
like
all.
have.
any of his stuff.
I like him in Face Off. That's
I like
it.
him Phenomenon.
I like him in
Yeah.
Face Off, and
Yeah.
that is it.
I liked
It
him in
is-
Grease.
It's hard
Yeah.
to imagine the film with those two characters because you all were talking about how they had never really played on the fact that Candy was a larger man, but I
Right.
thought the juxtaposition of him next to a very skinny,
Oh yeah, it helped.
masculine-
It helped with
Yeah.
the division between
Like,
them.
could
for
you
sure.
imagine if both of the men were hunky?
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, because definitely in the 80s,
Yeah.
both John Travolta and Tom Hanks were like
I
hunky
think
guys.
Yeah,
I think
feel
you'd
like
have to dumb down some of the comedy and play it slightly more serious with those two.
Right.
It's almost like Tom Hanks would have to be like Steve Martin's character just because of the wackiness of it, you
See,
know?
I
Right.
think at that time period you could probably get away with with Tom Hanks being the Steve Martin business guy, but you'd have to make John Travolta something kind of like the biker rougher guy. Like
Yeah.
I just don't see him fitting the sad family
Yeah,
guy
which-
selling shower curtains.
yeah, what-
I couldn't feel sympathetic for John Travolta if I wanted to. I don't think he. I just don't think he's just not a good actor. I don't think he could pull that off.
Yeah,
I don't think
he
he's
is.
a good actor.
Outside of Face Off, and I like Broken Arrow because of how bad it is.
I'll give you this. He doesn't have a lot of versatility.
He does not.
Listen, But that's also why he hasn't done like 1,000,005 movies.
So
as well.
it-
Like,
it-
he's
Oh, he's
somebody
done
that
1,000,005.
understands.
He's done 1,000,005 movies. You haven't heard of 1,000,000 of them.
Oh.
So they were wanting to set up where John Travolta was the one selling shower curtain rings.
Oh, I could not. That would not have worked.
I feel like you would have had to make Travolta really sloppy for that. I love John Travolta. Can he do wrong? Yes. But like, I love it. I love him.
I'm going to cut in with some terrible news. Apparently, in August of 2020,
Don't shh. I already know where you're going.
a remake was reportedly in development
Oh,
with Will Smith and Kevin Hart.
that's definitely
the
out.
leads.
That was
definitely
probably
out.
Maybe it is
pre-slap.
gone.
Yeah.
That
because
was
we don't need a
pre-Oscars.
remake to this.
Who-
puppy.
See, I feel like this movie will eventually inevitably get remade. Because I think there's I'm not saying it's a great opportunity, but I feel like there's an opportunity to make the same movie, but because everything's gonna be bigger now, to make it a globe hopping movie where you're not just traveling from Chicago or from New York to Chicago. It's from
China back to
China
Chicago.
to Ohio, from China to New York, some shit, it's something like that. Like it would be bigger and grander.
But isn't
in
that-
scope. I'm saying better, no, but I say that would definitely be the direction it would go in.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
that if you're gonna do something like that, why not go after like Around the World in 180 Days? Like that's
Yeah, that could be one as well. But I feel like if they're already at one point we're considering a remake, there's definitely, it's definitely gonna be
Something's
everything gets remade now.
I know.
Fucking Mike just shared today that fucking
Half-Baked.
Half-Baked's getting a remake. Who? Oh yeah,
Oh,
Who the
they're
fuck
getting a
needs that?
sequel, I think.
Yeah, who asked for that?
Princess Bride's getting a remake.
No, it's not.
Don't
not?
mess with perfection.
Princess
Probably.
Bride's getting remade.
Probably.
Yeah, I heard it was getting remade.
Oh.
Wait, who's going to be the actors? Do they know?
I do not know.
We're gonna revisit.
We're
that.
It
gonna
doesn't-
follow
it
up
doesn't
on
We're going to
this.
write a letter doll.
Chris
Jesus.
Pratt probably be in it.
A very strongly
Sorry.
worded letter.
A very strongly worded letter.
You know,
As you
I
wish.
agree on this next one. I agree with Steve Martin. Dylan Baker, who plays like the motel's son guy, the spitter and all that.
Yeah, the redneck.
Disgusted Steve Martin. Like that's,
Oh.
that's one of the,
Yeah.
that's like I get it, Steve. That was
To
pretty,
go
pretty
off on a
disgusting.
parallel, if you had to remake Planes, Trains, who would you cast? Who would be your two leads?
I would have just I think
Modern.
I think Due Date kind of did fine with as a spiritual kind of remake. I mean, it's not exactly a remake, but
I
I
think
think
with
that-
their casting. I think.
yeah, I think that Robert Downey Jr. and what's his
Galifianakis.
yeah,
in that, like,
Galifianakis.
in that like 2-year span where he was like relevant.
Yeah. But I think that was a fine. I mean, was it as good? No. After seeing this first time, was it as good? No. But I think it was a good spiritual remake.
I don't.
is what you get.
I think it'd be easy to cast Steve Martin's role in today's age, but I think it'd be really hard to cast John Candy's role.
Yeah.
Be super hard to do it.
It would be The Rock if someone redid it.
I will watch. That Rock cannot make a bad movie.
It's gonna
I
be-
will say he cannot make a bad movie. I've never seen a bad movie with The Rock. Never will. You can't change my mind. He cannot. That man is impervious to flops.
Did you see Tooth Fairy?
Still a pretty good movie.
I like
Okay.
the game plan. That was
Game
The
plan
game
was
plan
good.
is a classic. I love
He is the best thing the DC universe has. Henry Cavill, of course. Now,
Yeah,
He's
I was
back.
just saying.
Now he's
fuck
back. Now
he
he's back.
is.
Don't you
but
dare.
prior to Henry Cavill, The Rock was the best thing that ever happened to DC.
I would
and I cannot wait for that's only Henry Cavill is the only them bringing him back as Superman is the only thing that can rival The Rock in like a big DC like blow off
I don't
movie.
I don't think
That's the
so,
only
right?
actor I could.
Well, it will be because they're.
Stampede that
Yeah,
Henry
he's-
Cavill is leading.
Well, as far as like with The Rock's character, Black Adam being like the new like villain of the DCU. There's not who else would you have had as being like the big big hero to face him in like a big blow off movie?
Yeah,
Henry Cavill.
if they remake it like you said, like make it more global, I could see him throwing The Rock and Kevin Hart into it. Honestly, that's what they would do.
I cannot stand Kevin Hart.
That's what
But
it would be.
The Rock, I won't watch. I will not watch anything he's in. No.
You watch all the Fast and Furious? All
The ones he's in, yeah. I've missed a big part of the story, but I've seen the ones he's in.
right, so I'll run.
I'm sure I'm missing a lot of things.
Let me run through some more of this
Family.
list. There's only
Yeah,
8.
family.
Family. Elton John wrote a song for the movie. Yay.
Huh.
The sets might look familiar. That's where we got the same house from Home Alone.
Yep.
So that as soon as I seen it, I was like, that's the fucking house from Home Alone.
I had my suspicions that was definitely the same one.
That house was for sale a few years ago.
Yeah, it was big news
cool.
on that. I think you can. Is it on like the Airbnb experiences now?
Oh,
The what?
Cool.
The
McAllister house.
McAllister house.
Oh yeah, you can like
What a
Airbnb it.
Yeah,
So-
I
wonderful
know.
moneymaker.
I
or
know
something
the-
like that.
I
Yeah.
would do that.
Yeah, because I know the Scream house got put on there. There's a few other big houses,
Right.
Because Airbnb did that thing last year where they, contracted all these like famous movie houses for the Airbnb experiences.
Ooh,
And
cool.
that is why I love Airbnb.
It's a
Oh
good
my
idea.
gosh.
Set up traps for the Home Alone one for your guests.
Traps that would kill them.
Yeah, just drop bricks on them and trip wires.
Paint can to the face when
Yeah.
you're going up the stairs.
How many
Like
days
the real
do you think it took to
experience.
make this? How many days do you think it took to film it?
I don't
7.
have that.
7.
I'm going with 7 days.
days.
You're in a car. You have like
Yeah, longer than 7 days.
I would go with 2.5 months.
I'm
in
saying
the 80s. They're shooting reel to reel.
I'm saying 6 months.
Yeah, probably like six to 8 months, something like that.
Took 85 days, so Deidre was pretty close.
What'd you say?
I'm
She
kicking
said 2.5
ass at this
months.
game.
2.5 months. That-
She's off by
Yeah.
a week, but
That's what I'm thinking is like they had a 4-hour cut. Like,
I know. So it was mostly filmed in New York. They stayed in New York, except for the a couple scenes shot in Illinois where they shot like the motel and then
Right.
also the big finale at the McAllister house, which is in Chicago.
They were paying by the hour. They were like, we're getting this done.
John Hughes universe stuff. Del Griffith and John Bender are neighbors. John Bender from The Breakfast Club.
Oh, nice.
oh cool.
We're just
Interesting.
Is the
So Del Griffith and him are neighbors.
Well, how
How does that work? He doesn't have a home.
I don't know.
Maybe they
8
were
years
before
ago?
he died. Or his wife died. Maybe
Huh.
8 years. Yeah.
All right, y'all talk. I'll read the paragraph. I'll give you a summary. Go.
There we
Okay.
go.
But so I'm assuming the reason Dale is like so successful is because he's homeless. He just like on the grind 24/7. It sounds like he just
Yeah, he always knows people in different places. He's clearly
he's a motel. I know a lot. Like at the office, there's like a few guys we have work for us. And that's like their like thing. They're just like road warriors. Like some people like that kind of thing. They like just being.
yeah.
You know.
Was he successful though? I mean, it says in the movie he had like $263 in his wallet.
He's probably just like I bet he's only selling shower curtains. He's probably making it. I guess that might be successful in shower curtain sales.
He had enough to have a place to sleep.
You bring home like $300 a week. You're like, I'm doing pretty damn good as far as shower curtains go.
He was paying
what,
hotel
six-
rates every day.
Yeah, 60 cent per unit, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, and he made all them. Like, 'cause didn't he get like his room pretty much free in like the first motel? And
Yeah.
Yeah,
So he has all
knew,
these
like,
contacts,
everyone
so-
all over.
Well, I mean that, and they show you he's a really good salesman too. He starts selling them as
Earrings.
earrings to women.
Yeah, he's a good liar.
He's a really like he can shoot the shit, and like that's 90% of the game because anyone can sell anything. It's who you sell it to that matters.
right.
It's just from John Hughes' mouth himself. He just basically
Jimmy
like
Johns.
yeah, too many Johns. Del Griffith lives 2 doors down from John Bender, and Ferris Bueller knew Samantha Baker from 16 Candles. It's just he
And
just said that.
there's a fake town
He
too
just
that
said it.
a lot of John Hughes stuff.
Sure, I just read that.
6 or 7
Sherman,
degrees.
Shermer, Illinois.
Yeah, because Jay and Silent
Because that's
Bob
why it's
tried to
called
go
the
there.
Shermerverse instead of
Yeah.
the John Hughes. Is Shermerverse.
Shermerverse.
Wait, is it 9 degrees? How many degrees is it when everyone's
6.
connected to everyone?
6.
Ah.
6 degrees from Kevin Bacon. That's the
There's a website
that's
for
the
that.
meme, yeah.
Oracle of Bacon.
yeah. You can go there and you can find out any actor how many degrees they are from Kevin Bacon.
We did
1
that with
degree.
Bruce Campbell.
We did.
Yeah,
We did
just
that camel
just think. Now we're 1 degree away from that from Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
Or will be.
So we're 30 minutes into this. We want to go through the film now.
I think we're doing a pretty good job. We're
We-
just shooting the shit about it.
I mean, we can recap it. It's really not a complicated story, right? You have
Well, there we
Dale-
go. Eric gave us the plot for Thanksgiving 3. Give us the plot for this one.
Yeah, well, here, Ben.
Ben wants this one.
I
I
don't
don't.
give a shit. I don't care.
Go, Ben.
Go,
He's-
you'll do it better justice than I will.
Well, we have what's his name? Neil.
Griffith? No.
it's Dale Griffith.
Dale Griffith.
and Neil Page.
Neil Page.
So we have Neil Page, who's a big time like advertisement guy for New York, and he's trying to get home from.
Any confirmation that he works with Ferris Bueller's dad?
Well,
Yeah, that's
Or,
what
No,
or
I
is
was.
that just standing
I
theory?
mean,
might as well.
They're both going to Chicago
they are
because
both
he's
going to
like,
Chicago.
he's
Yeah.
like, why don't you just try the 8 o'clock? So like,
and
I
do we
think- I
know
think
what
that's-
Ferris Bueller's dad did for a living? Because he
No.
was just similar kind of whatever job that he was doing.
Yeah, I mean, he
I mean,
was,
that
he was
was just a-
successful. He was a successful
Yeah, they were just like a marketing
80s
agency
white
Marketing,
or
business
something.
guy. So I mean, 80s
Yeah,
white
just,
business guy.
It's the type of guy that dives out the window at once they reach
Yep.
like 55.
During
Exactly.
a crash, yeah.
Yep.
But
Well,
Neil's
yeah.
trying to get home for Thanksgiving. He has a bunch of shit luck, and then he runs into Dale Griffith on a plane, who is played expertly by John Candy, who I think walks a really nice tightrope between being annoying but sympathetic, And Steve Martin, I do think he, most of the time, there's a few times where I think he gets a little unreasonable, but for the most part, I think he plays a good line of being understandable, but also a dick. Like, you get why he's angry. He just takes his anger to an 11. Like, I don't think he's ever angry for no reason.
One of the things I thought was kind of odd, it's probably not a popular opinion, but like I felt like the little blow up in the motel, I felt like it was too early.
Yeah.
I felt like it's too early in the story.
I felt like it was a weird, like it should have been a turning point, but it was like, really right now?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that should have been like, that's like your kind of like second act, transition to your third act kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we did get that scene from John Candy, but it's like, man, that is pretty early on into the film.
Great scene. Yeah, I just feel like it was too early because it was only in the first act when that happens. I feel like it should have been our transition from 2 to 3.
And I wonder if that was a result of them cutting down the
4 hours.
That's what I wonder too, because I wonder if that plays more to what you were saying earlier, Ty, with how there might be more to that motel room scene than what we actually got to see. And I think that, because I agree, I really think like it was a bit too much too soon. I don't know. I feel like if we had gotten a little bit more from that supposedly original motel room scene, it would have made it flow a little better. Like, it wouldn't just seem so wonky, you know?
Right. It's very uncomfortable to watch.
It is. It's
he's
very
like
uncomfortable.
Tearing that guy down, and he's only known him a couple hours.
Yeah.
He even let him pay for the room.
Yeah. I don't get why John Candy's character liked him, though. Talking to his dead wife, he's like, I met a nice guy I really enjoy hanging out with. And
yeah,
like, what have you enjoyed?
Like, what have you enjoyed about being like tore down at every second, just being beat down? Like, I don't know. It was kind of weird, but
he is just a lonely guy.
I was
just interacting with him.
But even through all of that, Steve Martin still so by the time that he's sitting in the car and he says, I really enjoy his company, the dude has yelled at him, tore him down, but still stayed with him in the hotel room. They've separated on the train, and Steve Martin still keeps coming back to help him carry his luggage. Like, this is probably the first guy that Dale has carried on a conversation with more than once for the first time in months.
Yeah, that was without shower curtains.
Yeah, where he's not selling shower
right.
Yeah.
And as far as that one scene being too early, I do think it probably is. However, to me, it doesn't seem that far out of place because I do think there is something to be said for the most likely time for you to take a chunk out of somebody as viciously as Steve did in that scene is when it's early on, you don't know anything about this person. All you have is them pissing you off the whole time.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to tear somebody down that viciously if they're just this thing. The more time you spend with somebody and get to know them, the harder that becomes.
Right.
That's a good point.
Theoretically.
I get that. Yeah. It just always felt out of place.
It does. It is a little early, but I don't think it's inconceivable.
Yeah. And it does just feel like a poignant, it feels like a big turning point. Like Eric said, it just feels like a turning point.
Yeah. It came in a little early. I wouldn't say it's out of character though, and I don't think anyone did say that because he's been willing to take chunks out of people's. But I think what it was is like it felt like that point in the plot where there's that falling out between characters.
Yeah,
right before they rally back together, and it had those feels to it. So that might have been what gave it that early feeling.
Yeah, but this movie never has that scene where they really fall out.
There's like that weird scene in the diner where right before they part ways to go before Steve Martin goes get his rental car.
Yeah, but it's not really a falling out.
No, it's more of like, hey, we got to separate. John Candy obviously doesn't want to break apart, but no, it doesn't have that scene. But I just feel like that was supposed to be that, but it just
But it's
such a good scene though. It's a great scene. That's I don't think by any means they should have cut it by any means, but
no,
just felt a little out of place to me.
DJ, what was your 3 least favorite things of this film?
Okay, good question. I think that they could have probably alluded more to the wife. There is like a really touching comment where he's like, love doesn't describe it. But when you see that recap at the end of the movie and he's putting together the pieces of the wife's dead, you get like 3 scenes, 3 little comments that are kind of vague.
Yeah, they could have gave us more about the wife. Yes. I get behind that.
I do think that was probably suffered from the cuts.
Yeah.
Yes.
At the end of the movie, you see that really touching scene where the wife's crying because they're in each other's arms again. But like the conversations with her over the phone were really bare and barely there. And I guess they love each other because they have 3 kids. I didn't feel much.
Love you so much. You finally made it.
And I guess to your point too, I don't remember, like he was in contact for most of the time, like letting her know what was going on. So it's like, she was just happy to see him, I guess. It wasn't like this big thing where like, I didn't think you were making it home. I didn't think we'd ever see, it wasn't like that.
Yeah, they did make it a bigger moment than what we got from that cut of the film.
Yeah. Right?
just loves his wife, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if there's like some like Criterion collection edition of this or some kind of.
I'd be
Shout
interested. Now that I
Factory,
know there
maybe.
was a 4-hour cut at some point, like,
Look and see if Shout Factory does a lot of that kind of stuff. Look and see, or Criterion collection maybe.
what's your third thing?
To be honest, the kid's haircut. Oh, that was terrible.
Oh man.
Ooh, grabbing the bowl cut.
It was just so bad. My mom used to have a bowl cut. She gonna hear this and be like, Bailey.
Oh, splash zone.
For those of you who can't see what just happened,
We all got
Deidre just spewed all
We all
over
got
everyone.
Yes, spewed on.
And it was a well-deserved. That was if you're ever going to spit your drink out for a laugh, it's for something like that. That was great.
Thank you, Jerry, for your service.
I am a good meat shield.
Jerry's a good meat
You're
shield.
an excellent.
And Deidre was never invited back again.
I never am.
All right, Jerry, what's your 3 least favorites?
All right. Well, first I'm gonna go with that kid's haircut too because it just got me a shower. I wasn't expecting.
It caused a bigger problem.
I didn't know I hated it until this moment.
Didn't
but
know that it was that bad. I didn't like the scene where he had soap in his eyes because
That
I've had
was
soap
weird.
in my eyes before, and that
Yeah.
just
It just built anxiety in you.
it
Just
made
seeing
me, it made me
it.
feel it again, and I hated it.
What about the socks in the sink and him rubbing it on his face?
Oh, yeah, the wiping his face with the underwear and stuff.
Oh my God.
That was pretty good.
And then your third thing.
And the third thing I didn't like was
I hate Tyler breathing into his microphone so heavily right now. It's like just right in my ear. Just
who's
hits you.
that kid's haircut.
I've been paying attention around before I called out who it was. I was like, let me see who it is before I just say, go on.
Yeah, it's probably that kid's haircut because it got me that shower that I didn't want.
Hates it
I'm
the
gonna
whole
double
time, man.
down on
Double
that.
Double
down,
down on
double
that. Yeah. What you got, Ben?
Man, I don't.
Do you need time for this one?
It's not a lot to hate.
3 things that I don't.
We can give you more time. We can go to Bailey.
I don't even know that's necessarily the problem.
I don't have a third one yet.
All right, Tyler, you go. We'll circle back.
Right,
Circle
that's a
back.
hard one too. It's really hard to pick out things you don't like. I guess if I had to say anything, obviously there's like things you don't like in the situation. But I mean, like things you actually don't like about the movie is hard.
Yeah,
Like,
that's my.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't have
it's
things
like,
that I'm like,
sure,
oh, I
hate
wish they
that,
hadn't
all
done
this
that.
craziness. But no, I mean,
It's well put together.
like I said, I think there's some stuff missing. I don't like. Like I think that the reunion between him and his wife felt a lot like they showed a lot more than what it felt like it should have been.
Right.
It didn't really seem like it deserved that big pomp and circumstance of like you're finally home. Like it's like he. From what I understood from the movie, he was pretty consistent on letting her know like what was going on.
Right.
So I don't think it was like this. She had no idea. She was losing sleep. I mean, she was pretty aware of what was going on. I felt like. I think that they should have probably, if they were going to go that route, there maybe should have been a little more shown of like doubt and like her belief in him. I think that there needed to be more hints and clues dropped about John Candy's wife, because I do feel like even when they was like showing the recap, it's like I don't really know like where he came from. That like there's like Deidre said, like there's like 3 or 4 lines. Like,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It should have been. But
No,
also
it's like-
you don't want them to start feeding it to the audience either.
Well,
'cause
it got
it's
fed
too
to
obvious.
us, but it didn't get fed to Steve Martin's character. Like when he's out in the car talking to his wife.
Yeah.
That's when it got fed to
Yeah,
us. but-
yeah, exactly. But as far as like Steve Martin like getting that, I don't feel like there was that much to it. Man, I think like I said, that one scene, I feel like it was just a little too early in the movie. That's the only things I can come up with. I
Yeah.
didn't like about the movie.
See, on the one with him, if you weren't going to add any more scenes and you just had the cut of the film that you had, what I would have done with Steve kind of realizing that his wife was dead, what I would have done is every time he remembers something, I would have then cut back to that flash of him saying, I haven't been home in years. And then I would have showed another scene, like the one where he said, like, at very least we have our wives, and that look on John Candy's face. And then I would have cut back to that scene where he said, I haven't been home in years, where it's like that one line, I haven't been home in years, just keeps hitting him over and over again until he gets it.
True.
And that way you could have,
line.
you probably could have fixed it that way. But yeah, it is because they cut
Yeah.
a bunch, I'd say.
And that line should have definitely stuck out because that's kind of a weird thing to say. Like I haven't been home, and it's not like I haven't been home in weeks or months. Like I haven't been home in years. That's kind of like a weird thing to say. But yeah, those are my 3 things. Just
Good
like the
It's a good
kind of
3.
storytelling things.
What do you got, Eric? Did you dig any out?
Oh,
It's just
Any
too
that
damn
haven't
good.
been said.
yeah, really. Let's see. I didn't like when John Candy was sitting out in his car. There was a little piece of snowflake on the corner of his lip
Yeah.
while he was talking to his
It's
wife, and that was
distracting.
driving me. Yeah, driving me nuts, I guess. I didn't like how stressful those situations. This is really a compliment to the movie. I'm just spinning it. I didn't like how stressful some of the situations they were in were because of how relatable that shit was. So there, I've cheated once and I'm about to cheat again. I didn't like the credits because it meant the great movie was over.
He took the low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Man, so I feel like the back of my coat, somewhere in the tail region, just got heavier.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's a completely original idea. Don't see Thanksgiving 3 at this time stamp.
Don't worry, nobody is.
Yeah.
So maybe I just missed it, but did we ever? What's Kevin Bacon's character?
Nope. That's
He's
it.
just a dick on the road.
So just some random. To say, I wish there.
Just a guy.
Just weekend a nod.
Right. Yeah. So that's something I don't like. Like, yeah, just weird rivalry in this moment, sure. But like they could have also played that more throughout the whole film. There's for some reason he keeps seeing this guy. There's always these weird.
Okay, that would have been
it's that
kind of
New
funny.
York state of mind.
You could have,
Yeah.
you could have had him be like a rival guy that's in the meeting with him.
just
That they keep
something. I
running.
would.
Yeah.
I would appreciate something more. I mean, it was still a funny moment. I mean, it still worked for what it was.
Imagine if he was like the movie's villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, just something.
Just kept
like,
running into him by chance. along
Right,
the
I
way,
ju- I
just like
just-
you would have with Candy. Yeah.
But I guess it was just meant to be a cameo or something. But
Right.
like,
Yeah.
I wish I could have got something more. Like, why?
Where was Bacon at in this point? As Grady said, was he done Footloose already?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Heck,
definitely.
it was.
So he was
Footloose.
so it was just like a cameo.
Tremors
like
came out in 90,
90.
so it's still before then.
Oh.
I mean, Footloose is the only
He's
thing.
got the
I'm thinking of.
Tremors haircut though.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's coming right up on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what he's in that, but I wish I got
He
something
definitely
more.
did Footloose, so he was established.
Yeah, definitely
He was,
established.
he was a
Yeah,
sex
it was
symbol at this
definitely-
point. Yeah.
Definitely
Yeah.
a cameo.
So
Yeah.
I wish I got something more out of that character. I didn't like just for the consistency of it when he got finished in the shower and then came out and seen the mess of everything.
Yeah,
Like
that
oh,
was weird.
sure,
That
You
was
yeah.
see
weird.
that coming into the
That was
shower.
weird.
Right.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
didn't show like he was in the shower and John Candy was outside
Right.
doing stuff.
So that
No.
I wonder if there was a scene like that was cut where he's
It
in the
could've
shower
been.
and
It
John's
could've
like,
been.
"Hey, I need to come in." He's like, "No, don't." But because he's behind the curtain, like there's nothing you can do.
And
Like, maybe
he'd
he
be
was a-
blinded by the soap.
Right,
and
like maybe
couldn't
he
do
was the
anything.
cause of why the water went off or something.
Oh, like
Yeah.
flushing the toilet or something.
Yeah, just something. So
Yeah.
that was weird to me.
Turning on the sink.
Turn it on the sink.
Yeah, so I didn't like that. I will have to dig for a third thing though.
I know.
Those
you
are
have
the
to
two
get
that
so
jumped out.
nitpicky.
Those were the two that really like.
You really do have to nitpick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I felt like I missed something with the Kevin Bacon character. As well. I was like, what did I miss?
Yeah.
Like,
Probably did.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
there's
we
a
did.
4-hour cut of this fucking thing.
Yeah, so we probably
it's,
did.
It's one of those ones where it's like all your questions are probably answered.
Yeah, and so that bothered me. And then
There's a 4K on pre-order right now that has it's the extended deleted with over an hour of never before seen footage.
Ooh, I want
It's on pre-order, comes out the 22nd of this month.
Ooh,
Let's
I
all
want
give
it, but
thanks
we don't
for
have
that.
a 4K.
and then
Oh, it looks like it's
Blu-ray.
Blu-ray 4K.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
and then just based on like the whole film as a whole, I felt it just out of place that he punched John Candy. I just found that weird that he punched him. I don't know why, because
side
there's
of the
nothing
mood.
else kind of like that in the film. I mean, I get that was like a breaking point moment,
I
but
was
it's,
going to say that made
but-
sense to me.
but it's just weird. It's like just I don't know. It just felt weird that he punched him. I don't know why. It just felt out of character of the rest of the film
because
for
he's
some
usually
reason.
verbally abusive, not
Yeah, it's
physically.
like nothing to show that he's a physical guy at all. Just
Mhm.
in this moment, he just punches John Candy right in the stomach
yeah.
and gets instant karma for it. But,
Yeah, that was funny. Just went right over the trunk. And again, we're getting nitpicky because I mean, planes,
You
trains,
gotta,
and
yeah.
automobiles.
If you're going
yeah, nothing to the story itself. Just like those weird things like that. Just kind of.
Okay, I'll
Back to
give
Ben.
one, and I'll have to just copy somebody else. It's the reaction with the wife.
yeah, it was just kind of weird.
I don't fucking know.
I have two. Yeah. Like, yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, why wouldn't you look? Like, why did you walk into the shower and not see all of that? Like, why? And second of all, why did you not look in the sink before you started it and started washing your face?
I thought about that too. 'cause
I
there's
know,
never been
right?
time.
I have
Right?
never
Not once.
not looked in the sink before I have started washing my face. It's not because I think something weird is going to be in there. It's because I want
Just
my
calm
sink to be clean when I start washing my face.
Well, yeah, people spit in it. Why would you get the water out of the sink anyway like that? You just cup your hands.
I
under
don't
the
even get
faucet,
the
you know?
water out
Yeah.
of like the bowl of the sink. I get it directly from the
Right.
faucet.
Yeah,
That way
Like
it's
a-
not even touching
like a
the
smart
bowl.
person.
I feel
Yeah.
like that was the parts that were cut where you were like, This
Like,
is
what are you
included
doing?
for a reason?
Like, no one has ever shown you how to clean your face before, sir.
Yeah, I feel like that was just stupidity on the sake of comedy. You know,
Yeah,
just,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
that's the
kind of.
slapsticky stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Ugh.
suspend your disbelief for the bit.
Yeah.
Using those whitey tighties to
Yeah.
wipe
Oh
his
my
face
God.
was awful.
That was
Ugh,
terrible.
that was
I think
terrible.
I think the sock water was worse than the whitey tighties for me.
At least the tidy whities were clean.
The tighty whities were clean.
I guess okay. We're assuming they're cleaned.
Let's
okay.
hope.
They're hanging up.
I'll go with it.
They're hanging up and they're dry. So
You're
I'm gonna
right.
assume they're clean.
Oh,
yeah,
thank
because he was
God.
also
Okay.
cleaning his socks in a way.
You're right.
They
Sock
were
water is worse then. You're right.
Yeah.
I'll take it. You're right.
What was
The
your second thing?
second thing is when he's trying to get the cab from the lawyer, and the lawyer's like, clearly anyone willing to pay 50 will pay 55. At that point, I would have been out. I would have been like, listen, sir, you're either going to get $50 for this cab and have an extra $50 in your pocket, or you're going to leave with nothing. But then again, that might just be the businesswoman in me. That's like, if we're negotiating, we're negotiating.
But also, like to a lawyer, $50 ain't shit.
It ain't shit.
He's
no.
just doing this for a power trip at this
It's
point.
just
Exactly
being
what
an
that
ass.
is. Is
Yeah.
capitalize on somebody else's desperateness, and you can tell that he's sleazy anyway because he calls him a thief, and he has absolutely no problem with that. He says, "Close, I'm a lawyer."
Yeah.
That's true. I'm an attorney. But yeah, those are my two.
Sorry, I made you dig for those.
I had to get the shovel out and everything,
So
man.
something slightly easier, Deidre. Your three favorite things.
In any good movie, especially the great ones, I always look for my favorite quote. And if it's quotable, it's something I'm going to keep with me. So I love the sentence, love isn't a strong enough word to describe what I feel for that woman. That is so fucking touching.
And he
That's when you know
deli-
she's dead.
he delivers it really well.
Right?
too.
Yeah.
He just looks at him, and it's not, and you believe him by every inch of it.
It's that moment when you're like, oh, no, yeah, she's definitely gone because that's touching as hell.
Yeah.
And all right, I like the switch, the kind of a duality between it, because at the beginning you're like, obviously Candy's an asshole. He stole a cab. He knew it. He's on the plane. He's being annoying. We've all been there. We've done that. We know those people are just constantly annoying and oblivious to it, and they're just dicks. And then it slowly becomes apparent that no, Candy has constantly been this positive, motivating, kind, go out of his way to help a stranger no matter what, even on the holidays fella, that everything that's happened is just like flukes and really bad luck, and it's all a shift in the personality. I really like the fact that you slowly come to realize that the main character is actually the asshole because he's just constantly throwing it back in this nice fella's
A
face.
flawed hero. You have those.
Candy is definitely the hero of the film. I love him. And let's see. Last thing that I really like about the movie. That's hard.
That's hard.
Yeah,
It's hard.
to pick the third
It's
one.
hard
It's hard to pick the
singling out
ones.
one more
Yeah,
thing.
because you're trying to pick like your favorites. I like that after the unprofessional as she was, and I'm pretty
Oh,
sure she
yeah,
had
no,
blue
yeah.
eyeshadow.
When she goes, "You're fucked."
Yes. If someone had said "fuck you,"
Oh, yeah,
like,
no.
19 times, and I could throw it
She
back.
was
to him.
happy to say that. She's like, oh, yeah, you're fucked.
Anyone who's worked in retail or sales
yeah.
or dealing with the people knows how good that feeling feels.
Right. And see, and I think that's what's clever is you understand why he's upset, and he has a legitimate reason to be pretty tiffed, but he way overshoots.
Yep.
Way overshoots. Massively overshoots.
So, yeah, it's a good three. It's a good three.
Yeah. Nice solid 3.
What you got, Jerry?
Don't fuck this up.
You get
You're
one
in a
chance.
sticky situation.
Back to that scene where he first like is blowing up on him in the hotel room when it goes to John Candy retorting to him and the music starts to swell. It really like enhances the emotion
Oh,
of
yeah.
that scene.
You're
It's just
right.
like, well, I like me, you know, and then that music starts to
Like,
go.
I
boom,
like me,
boom,
damn
boom,
it.
It gets louder and louder. And I thought that was a cool part.
You're right. They built that moment so well. I agree.
I really like that scene where they're in the car and he's like trapped to the seat and he's
Oh,
like,
that's so talented.
That was so great.
it's just, the hilarity just keeps escalating and he's just like, no,
That's great.
but he won't wake him up.
Right, he won't wake him up.
Just
I don't want
stop-
to make
you
him more
won't stop
mad.
the car. Just stop the
The
car. I
situation
promise
keeps-
you'll be fine.
God, you picked like my favorite sequence.
It's
in the
so
movie.
good.
That was so good.
And then the warmness that Steve Martin starts to feel towards him throughout the whole movie. He like is warming up and losing his like edge, and his character progression throughout the whole thing is just a comforting thing to watch. It like fills you with that warm feeling.
I like
did
how
it.
you ended on a touching note.
It's cute. Ben.
So they're all bits, right? They're all moments with
Yeah.
these characters because I think that's where this movie really shines. I do like I'll give Steve Martin, try to give Steve Martin a shot because the other two are definitely John Candy because I feel like he does the heavy lifting in this. I really like the scenes where Steve is kind of trying to just be a polite dick, where he's like, hey man, I'm not really a conversationalist, so just fuck off, will you? And you can just tell that he's trying to be as polite as he can, which is really not all that polite, really.
Yeah.
But it's everything that he's got, and it's just like, oh man, this guy's wound tight. And then the other two moments go for John Candy, him sitting in the car talking to his wife.
Oh yeah.
Because you really get to see what he thinks of himself. And to confirm this, and because John Candy's an amazing actor, the number one scene for me is, Jerry's already mentioned it, but I give no shits. It's the You Want to Hurt Me. That scene, in my opinion, is the best scene of John Candy's really, really awesome career. And there's a moment there where he says, I like me. But if you watch his face, there's an expression there just for a second where his eyes are sad and he gives a reaffirming nod, but it's a sideways nod. So he doesn't, it's like he's trying to reassure himself that he does like himself and that what he's saying is true. But in his eyes, you can just see he doesn't believe it. And then when he's sitting out talking to his wife, that reaffirms that. He's just like, man, I fuck up literally everything in my life.
I think that's something in general with some of our greatest comedic actors. They always can deliver a dramatic scene better than a lot.
I think you definitely need that.
Yeah.
And I'll do an honorable mention just because I want to. The moment where Neil walks into the train station and John Candy looks up, you can see on his face how depressed he is, but also I think he was sitting there just hoping that maybe he would come back because he has this look of desperation.
Yeah.
But there's no reason why, if he's so like sad and desperate, there's no reason for him to immediately whip to that door unless he was just hoping that Neil would come back.
That's what I read out of that too. Yeah.
And these are just moments that show that John Candy is an actor probably had capabilities well above the roles that he picked.
Yeah, because even if you look at something like Cool Runnings, that wasn't really a comedic role. That was just a good role he did.
He always had, like, in every movie he was in, it was, comedy, but there was always those scenes that John Candy, made.
This is not a pun at all, but he's an actor that I think always very gently punched way above his weight.
Yeah, because even if you think about even just, his small part in Home Alone, he still had that moment with the mom and everything, too. So, yeah, he's good at delivering those kind of moments.
He is.
Very similar to that scene in Planes, Trains, Automobiles in the motel. It's a very similar kind of scene with Mrs. McAllister and him where he, she gets annoyed at him. He, turns around on her.
Yep. And so those are, brilliant, brilliant moments.
Yeah. Bailey.
Hi. The first one's going to be when John Candy is, asleep on Neil's shoulder on the plane. And then he's Neil's kind of looking at both of his shoulders, where on one it looks like this old man is getting ready to keel over. That would actually scare me if an old person fell asleep on my shoulder in the middle of a plane.
Also in Home Alone.
He is an old.
Yep.
He's the one that sells the Catherine O'Hara the ticket. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
She got all kinds of earrings, dangly ones,
bobblings.
Yeah,
and when John Candy looks up and says, I bet my left testicle we're not landing in wherever it is, because I just didn't expect that to come out of his mouth. I'm like, oh, John. Second one is going to be when they're getting off the train after it breaks down, and Neil runs up to help John Doe with his trunk. This heavy ass trunk that has gone everywhere with him, that he's just trying to drag across the fucking uneven earth that is there from the train station.
Did we ever
and
get a look inside that thing?
No, I'm assuming it's everything he owns.
That's what I'm assuming too. But
I'm assuming it's all his possessions. He has no home, so I'm assuming it's just everything he owns is in that trunk.
And then the third one is also going to go to the trunk when it flies off the back of the fucking car and just bounces off the road, and then is still fully intact by the end of it. Not even broken open. I don't know what kind of trunk he bought, where he bought it, but they must have gotten it from Instructable Trunks R Us, because that thing has gone through hell and back and still survived.
Bailey's favorite character is the trunk.
My favorite character is the trunk. It's stylish. It's secure.
You can depend on it.
You can depend on it, and that's what I like in my luggage.
What's its name?
Bert.
Okay.
Bert the trunk.
Tyler.
Man. because it's hard because I don't want to repeat things. So
I mean, if they're your favorite, they're your favorite.
I repeated,
it's like,
man.
It's like you
I
gotta.
repeaed it's fine.
Yeah, I
gotta,
never
like,
gave the
dig.
role you couldn't repeat. I
I know. It's like I'm trying to find unique things. You gotta kind of dig. I really like the scene with them in bed together. Thought that was funny. Thought that was funny.
Where's your hand?
Yeah,
Between two pillows.
Between two pillows. Those aren't pillows.
If you wonder how his ass feels, now you know.
Yep. Thank God he didn't smell his hand.
I like that. I really like the guy that picks him up in the truck. The one guy's son.
Oh my god!
I thought for sure you were going to say the dude that picked him up by his nuts.
No.
He was making.
Did we
I like
ever,
that.
Did they ever say like what that facial tick of his was?
I think it's just him clearing his
It's just him.
throat.
Clear him through. It's
Yeah.
cold.
Okay,
It's
okay.
winter.
I just didn't know.
I like he gets his wife out. He's like, she's had a baby come out sideways. She's fine.
He didn't scream or nothing.
How tough that woman is.
She's sturdy.
She's
Man, I don't
tiny,
know.
but she can lift that
It's,
trunk.
I like the scenes with them flying. There was a really nice shot at one of the airports. You get to see some LA-80 incandescent pappies.
I don't know what that is.
It's an airplane thing.
Okay.
Stop.
You wouldn't know. You're not in the.
It's a highly technical.
Both Eric and Michael laughed, and the rest of us are like, "What?"
Because I knew exactly. It's like I don't know what it is, but I know what he's referencing to as something that we shouldn't get, and I know
Yeah,
something to
it's
do with plane industry.
very nice looking
Because Tyler's in that
airfields.
industry now, so we
Ve-
can.
ve-
Very nice airfields.
Evan could probably attest to it. He's probably Evan's probably tired of hearing like about airports and plane shit. But at this point,
It's a fascinating industry. But man, like third thing, Jerry said the car scene where he's getting his sleeve stuck. Man, that was just comedy gold. That scene was hilarious.
Seriously.
Yeah, I love that. Every minute of that.
Oh my God.
Just the whole movie. I guess if I had to say anything, my favorite part of the movie is just the movie itself. I mean,
There's a scene that
Great
nobody's
flick.
mentioned. I'll be curious if Eric, if you or Michael bring it up.
Oh, a particular moment in the movie?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Because I kind of, but this is just one of those movies. I'm like, yeah, but that's one of my favorite parts. That's one of my favorite parts. Like,
yeah,
as you keep thinking about it, like, damn it.
because I'm going to do some tap dancing. I don't know that I'm going to get too specific because there's just a lot of good moments.
did you also enjoy the LA-80 incandescent voltage powered
You did
precision
not.
Yes.
You did not.
precision approach pathway indicators?
Yeah, the incandescent.
I did that. I did. I don't know if anyone else caught
Yeah,
that.
no, I totally caught that.
hey, Eric, what did you think about the theme of John Candy being the trunk? Sturdy, indestructible, but worn and traveled.
With the
That's
hidden
interesting,
backstory hidden inside
Inside the
of
trunk.
it.
Steve
Yeah,
Martin
it
is
was in
Jesus
the
Christ
depth.
sending them through these tribulations.
Steve Martin is not Jesus.
Trying to beat him up, but he can't break the trunk, and then at the end of the
Exactly.
day, he's helping him carry himself forward. So yeah,
how
there
many
we go.
days his trip take? Was it 3 days?
I think it was two. It was like 2 days
Did
before
Steve-
the-
Then he wrote.
Did Steve Martin get home on the third day?
Yeah, third day. he
On the
came
third
home.
day?
he was resurrected for his family on the.
Yep.
That's why his wife was so surprised because, like, you were dead.
See, I've taught you all well. You are able to recognize the inner depths and themes of film.
All right, let's hear your tap dancing
Yay.
over here.
Just so you guys know, the reference is that there's always a Christ allegory.
Always.
Yeah,
I'll
always.
give
Yeah, you give Eric an inch, he'll pull a mile out of anything.
I
so.
mean, they
Hail
just
Mary,
in any
full of grace.
I mean, I showed you at the beginning, like, what the film is supposed to be
Wait.
about, right?
yeah,
I
I
remember
remember
it.
it. I don't remember exactly.
It's something
but yeah.
like you never, you have to be tolerant of people because you never know what they're going through.
yeah, that's,
Right.
that's
That's
for
sure.
sure.
I think it's
Yeah.
Arching
across really
theme.
well.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone. That's not like a secret. That's
Yeah,
what I got.
yeah.
From it,
So a little tap dancing here instead of picking out one particular
one of our
moment,
names is
like
Mary.
just the relationship between those two characters, but from the writing to the directing to, of course, the fucking acting, like all of that was great. It was
all on
really
point.
well. Yeah. All of it came together in an amazing way. So just that relationship being depicted in this movie was phenomenal. There was a shot where I went, ooh, that's a cool shot. Where they're driving.
Oh, in the car?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
car's
I love
burned
that.
up. Something about the way they were, because the car's going along the highway, and just something about the way the camera was moving along that car, and you're just seeing those.
There's
It's
a
like, oh god, those tires and stuff like that. Or
there's a similar shot of that in Christmas Vacation
oh yeah,
Yeah.
when they have when he chops down the giant tree and they have it on the car. There's a similar shot of that where it starts with the head and it goes down. You see how giant this fucking tree is on top of their car.
Oh, yeah.
See, yeah, I don't know. Something about that is really like.
Pretty sure John Hughes produced that movie.
Did he? Was it
Christmas
John Hughes
Vacation's
again?
pretty tight.
Yeah,
I wonder if
sure
he had the
produced
same. I'm going to call out the cinematographer Donald Peterman, who was the cinematographer for this one. I wonder if he was the same guy, because he's actually a pretty invisible cinematographer. Usually you're in the scene. You're not really thinking about like, oh, this shot is like carrying me through something, or, which is why that car shot stood out to me. And it's like, he's good at letting the story be itself. So I thought
he's not distracting with fancy stuff.
Right. And third, there's just a ton of amazing stuff. I really want to say the car scene, but the first hotel sequence too, leading up to that kind of confrontation between the two of them as things were degrading, was pretty funny. It's like, that would annoy the fuck out of me too. But getting from there,
he's like clearing his throat.
It's like, oh my God. And he just would never stop moving. And the whole bed is just shaking. And you can I'm like, I relate too much. Call me an asshole. I relate too much with Steve Martin's character for a majority of this movie. But I don't like that about myself.
I'm self-aware, damn
I'm
it.
too uptight. Yeah.
I'm surprised no one's called out the sound guy for adding in the nice little ball scratching sounds. That's at least 30 seconds.
Sandpaper.
Moisturizer.
Yeah, what was going on down there?
That was nobody's favorite. I'm just saying.
I think one of my favorite parts was when they were laying in bed, but not that exact moment, was when they get out. And they both just, without really saying, they just both start being like manly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, how about that game? And just,
How about them Bears?
Yeah, how about them Bears? Just how they both just subconsciously both got there. Like, yeah, we're men, damn it. So that was pretty funny. I like the part where Candy's driving down the wrong part of the highway.
There it is.
Yeah,
that was the scene that I was talking about, where he like pans over and there's skeleton and then he's the devil.
Yeah.
Yes. That was great.
I just really like the confusion between the two cars when they're yelling back and forth. Like, it's like, you're going the wrong way. Like, how the fuck would they know?
How would they know where we're going?
Oh, he's drunk.
So both of them, that's the thing. Each car is right in their mindset. Like what the fuck would they know? We're going the right way. They're fucking alcoholics, and they're fucking alcoholics driving down the wrong side of the highway. Like,
Yes.
So just the confusion, that how they all just thought they were right in that moment.
Yeah, that's really good.
And there was just no way to communicate.
Yeah, you just
between them. There. Yeah. No, you're right. Right. That was brilliant. That's brilliant.
Third thing, I liked after Steve Martin gave up the $13 in the watch, and Candy's just like, I have a Casio.
And he tries to show it off.
Modeling it.
He's getting that salesmanship going.
He's like, I'm going to have to say goodbye now.
Don't worry, he gets eaten by a T-Rex later, John. It's fine.
Yep, he gets his.
So that'd probably be my 3 moments right there.
Nice.
Love it.
Good moments. I mean, this movie is just fantastic. I mean, it's just a good holiday movie.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, as far as it goes, you don't have many Thanksgiving movies. It's a weird that's not a very touched upon holiday.
Right. That it doesn't get as
well. Usually, I think if you're gonna make a movie in this time period, Christmas is right down the road. Why not aim for the bigger draw?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's something I've told
we should make a Thanksgiving
too.
Hallmark movie.
Made in Bulgaria, a Bulgarian Thanksgiving.
There we go.
Yeah, but that's something I was talking before we recorded any of this, is why there's more Christmas movies than Thanksgiving movies. It's just because Christmas has more beats about it.
True.
Whereas Thanksgiving is just the dinner you're trying to get to.
I feel like you could do I know my Thanksgiving is usually hopping around the families. I feel like that'd be a good concept for it, hopping around the different families.
With a pocket full of shells?
Yeah.
Let's rally around the family.
Never mind. The family. No, Bulgarian Christmas. Rich American businesswoman moves to Bulgaria and meets a Bulgarian mud farmer.
Small town Bulgarian.
Yes. Here we go.
You know what? The next podcast we record, we're going to set a challenge for Tyler not to mention anything about Bulgaria.
There's been a few. I didn't mention any during Thanksgiving.
It's because he's like, I'm not polluting Bulgaria with this garbage.
Yeah, I wouldn't take Thanksgiving 3 to Bulgaria. No siree.
I just want people to know that if we ever do anything in Bulgaria and I'm part of it, I have been kidnapped.
Let's just do a Hallmark film in Bulgaria.
That's what I just said. A Bulgarian Christmas.
What he just said. Don't encourage him.
That's just Christmas. Do you want to just do a good Christmas, or you want to do a Hallmark one over there?
Well, what's the difference?
One is all the rest, and the other is original.
They're both pretty good. Hallmark movies are good.
Hallmark is cookie cutter, though.
If the formula works, why?
It doesn't work.
Would you fuck up your chocolate chip cookie recipe?
No.
Exactly.
Why you guaranteed money maker?
But here's the thing, though.
Guaranteed good chocolate chips. Why are you upset about it?
I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it. All I'm saying is it's just cookie cutter. That's all it is.
It's why you gotta bring something innovative to it.
I'll knock it. Those things suck. They're fucking terrible.
I would.
Is our
wager that you
innovation
haven't watched any.
Bulgaria?
Hey, if all chocolate chip cookies are around, I'll still eat every one of them.
Yeah, they're good
Like-
movies. They're good cozy movies. I think we should do a Hallmark Thanksgiving movie. I don't think that's been done yet.
No.
We haven't done that yet. No.
We haven't. So
Leave a comment if you support Ty in his.
Hallmark Thanksgiving venture.
Bruce
There.
is doing them.
That
I'm
was a
not
nicer
above
way of
doing
putting
them. Bruce is doing Hallmark movies now. I'm not above doing them. So
Ouch.
I will do it if you can get Bruce in the Hallmark Thanksgiving video.
well, Eric's gonna ask if he'll be in it when we go to BruceFest.
Ty. I thought you said you were going to ask him.
That's not what I heard. I think
I was
I
going to
said,
handle.
I said it first, and that made it a legal binding verbal contract.
Right. That's how this works.
Yeah,
isn't
that's
it?
how it
Yeah.
works.
Oh, that's how
I'm
you
very-
got
I'm very
me
versed
involved
in
in
law.
this podcast network to begin with. You're
Okay,
right.
so what's our
Versed
next
in law.
segment?
You can take us there, Ben.
Huh?
What should we rate this movie as in our next
We're
segment?
going to do out of fives.
Out of
Out of
fives?
fives?
Okay. Do you guys
Okay.
want
Yeah,
to?
Yeah,
Typical.
we'll do this one out of 5s.
Okay.
All right.
So the fives.
5.
Welcome to Marathon. May I help you?
Yes. You can start by wiping that fucking dumbass smile off your rosy fucking cheeks. Then you can give me a fucking automobile. A fucking Datsun, a fucking Toyota, a fucking Mustang, a fucking Buick. 4 fucking wheels and a seat.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I am going to give this 4 out of 5 acting manly moments.
Okay. Okay.
Mostly because I think for it to be a 5 for me is like I would watch this any time of year, but it's perfect for the time of year it's meant for, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's not like a
Agreed.
film I would just throw in any time of year. But for what it is perfect for what it is. So that's why it gets, 4.5. I'll give it the 4.5 manly grunts out of, acting
Okay.
manly out of 5. What you got, Eric?
5 out of 5 ear kisses from a stranger.
Oh man, they are strangers.
That
in
would be
movie.
They are
terrifying,
very
honestly.
sweet.
Very sweet.
Yeah. What?
That would be terrifying. Can you imagine just walking down the park, someone walks up to you?
I'll try
I can feel
tomorrow,
the
see what
shivers right now.
happens.
Might test it out, Mike.
Yeah, I'll test it out tomorrow. Let you know how it goes.
Yeah. He'll call from jail. No, it's a great movie. It's like an incredible balance between like humanizing drama and like humanized conflict. Like we were able to see why everybody had the problem they were having. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Whether it was their fault or not. And slapstick comedy, and it was amazing. So yeah.
Oh, that's right. You did said you like that very physical comedy type.
Yeah, when they were like gripping the dashboard. I should have mentioned that when they were gripping like the dashboard and the steering wheel, and like you could, when they finally pried their fingers off, you could see the indents, and it was great.
Did have slight moments of absurdity where you're
Yeah,
like, takes you out of reality for just a moment.
right.
I don't. Yeah, I think that
But it
all
worked.
movies should. I think you should suspend your disbelief for every movie I watch.
Yeah.
I don't think. I hate people like you watch a movie with someone. They're like, "Well, that can't happen in real life." Well, it's a movie. Like, what sense in watching it if you're not going to suspend your disbelief? I don't want to see real life shit in a movie. I don't want to live in real life.
That depends entirely upon the movie. If I'm
Yeah.
seeing somebody fart a rainbow in Schindler's List, I'm going to be a little concerned.
That make it a lot. That would have been a lot funner. That made that movie a lot more funner. I feel like.
lighted it up
It's not supposed to be a fun movie.
Yeah,
no.
Right,
I don't want
Just
movie
lighten
needs
up the
levity.
Holocaust. Why not?
Not enough people fuck with the people.
God damn it, we're
Such a
canceled
depressing
now.
time. I mean,
Fuck.
Yeah, I think it just depends. Like the tone of this movie allowed for, but it's like if it's a movie that's trying to be realistic, yeah, you don't get away with it.
Exactly.
Like,
As long as it has
if
its
you're
own
shooting
internal.
for realism,
Yeah,
yeah,
I never
keep
go
its
into a movie
internal
that way. I never go
consistency.
into a movie to nitpick it on those kind of grounds because it's a movie.
yeah.
I'm
Because I'm like-
smart enough to know that I'm watching something that's not real. I'm not going to nitpick it on things that are.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
Not
that's
real.
that's a way to frame it.
That's how I enjoy a lot of my movies. Yes, suspend your disbelief.
That's how you got so far at the bottom of the trash can, my friend.
Turn off your brain. Have a little fun.
Yeah, that went a long
That's where
way.
it goes. Shut it down and have some fun.
I think movie what Ben might appreciate. It's like it was good about stretching reality. It was like The Predator. Like obviously, like
Sure.
yeah, they were shooting for like the over the top '80s action movie. So of course they were doing things that were outside of reality.
Yeah.
But like you suspend for that kind of film.
Oh yeah.
Sexual Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Tyler, your rating.
I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 fucks. I feel like that's fair.
It had 19.
Yeah.
No.
I gave it 4 of them.
You gave it.
What's
Where am
that
I
ratio
coming
to 19? 4 out
I
of 5?
think it was 19 and 60 seconds.
Yeah, so we need a ratio. His 4 out of 5 to get no.
Yeah, but I love it. I think it's a great movie, and it's a shame there isn't more Thanksgiving movies. We've watched all 3 of the Thanksgiving classics here on Cult Talk Net, so I think that's pretty much it.
He keeps
Or at least-
using
at
that
least-
word.
At least 3 out of 4 we've seen technically. But
As soon as we get that part 2 from space, we'll watch it, Eric.
We'll
Don't
get it
worry.
someday.
back.
But no, I think this movie's great. This is such a good movie. I found a quote I thought was pretty cool about it. It says, this is from a guy named Argan Algan. I'm not sure who he is. I'm assuming he's a critic of some kind. He categorized planes, trains, and automobiles as a lively portrayal of in-person interactions between people of different economic classes.
Aw.
People curse, make out in public, speak in platitudes, and retell the same jokes. Generally, they are coarse and loud, imperfect, but not without love. I thought that was a good quote.
Aw.
That's great.
So,
No, yeah.
That's so beautiful.
It's beautiful.
So what's he trying to sell you there with that quote?
To watch the movie.
To watch the movie.
Just watch the movie. All right.
Just watch the movie.
Buy my book.
I don't know who the fuck he is. He might be a white supremacist for all I know.
We just were there for the quote. We weren't there for the person.
Yeah, I do not support
flies
any of
these
Argan
days.
Algan's political
Just in case. Just in
Not
case.
for Ogden Flargan.
Just in case.
Or whatever his name was.
CYA.
So why not the 5, I guess?
just some of the stuff was kind of weird. A couple pacing moments, things like that. But I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like if anything,
You'll
it's like,
still
it's-
watch it.
I feel like if I was doing anything, it's like a strong like 4.98. So I don't think there's anything bad you can say about this movie. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a great movie. It's just it's fantastic.
Yeah, we were pretty nitpicky about the things we didn't like about
Yeah.
it.
Because
Had
we
to be.
hamstrung
Had
ourselves
to be.
into it.
Well, you
Exactly.
forced us to pick three
I would
things.
say the only reason I didn't get the full 5 is because I do feel like there's some stuff missing. I think that's just a product of the hard cut they had to do to get this thing
Yeah.
down from 4 hours to an
What was it?
hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would definitely like to see this extended cut I found online. I think that'd be
Fuck yes.
a fun watch, see if it fills in some of the gaps. But
Right.
that's one thing keeping it from not getting the full 5 for me. Nothing bad, just
Yeah.
some stuff I feel like need to be maybe fleshed out a little better.
What was your thing?
What?
What was your thing?
Fucks.
Fucks.
$5.
I'm surprised you didn't make it the fucking plane shit or whatever.
I know.
I don't want to, lord that over you guys. I know more about precision approach pathway indicators. I don't want you guys to feel inferior, but
Go ahead, Bailey. Save us.
I am gonna do 5 out of 5 indestructible trunks
Oh, nice.
Nice. Good one.
with the hypoallergenic pillow in there and 50 million snacks. Where does he get all of his snacks?
He had so many.
Like he has so many snacks.
that's what got me too. Is when they moved into that motel and they didn't even have enough money for him to get a room. Then all of a sudden they have a bunch of liquor.
that's probably-
Where
that
did
came from
he
the trunk.
get
Because I'm
all of
assuming
that?
That might be
And
from
the
all his
expended-
trunk because, I mean, let's think about it. It might not be his clothes in there because he was washing his clothes in the last hotel.
True.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe he just has like a box in there just full of snacks he replenishes like every month or so.
He
I don't know.
probably-
I
He probably
love
just
this
has night clothes
Snacks
and day
is probably
clothes. That's what
his
he has.
actual food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what he eats to live.
It
It's
is.
his
Yeah, it is.
cupboard.
You're right.
Oh,
Oh,
such
nice.
a terrible
5 out
diet.
of 5 indestructible trunks, huh?
5 indestructible trunks. I love this movie. We watch it every Thanksgiving, every holiday. It's on. I love John Candy. He's great. He's definitely my favorite John Candy movie is Uncle Buck. You cannot. No, don't fuck with Uncle
So
Buck.
you got this movie on rotation and you got Thankskilling 3 on rotation now?
No.
No.
All right. Ben,
I
what-
wouldn't
Playlist.
recommend that.
yeah, Thankskilling the first one. You can have on
Exactly.
rotation. Yeah.
There you go.
I'm going to give this 5 out of 5 deep Dale moments.
Deep Dale moments.
Just when Dale decides just to drop a big old steaming pile of sad on you.
Yeah. Let's go deep.
Yep.
Deep
No,
Dale.
this movie is amazing. You've got a writer, director, producer who's known for putting out good movies that are on theme. You've got 2 actors who are probably at the pinnacle of their acting abilities, sharing the screen together. The setup is great, payoff phenomenal, even if it is a wee bit oversold because of the cuts. You've got moments where you sympathize and kind of dislike both characters. Love it.
Yeah.
I won't say a harsh word about it.
Nice. Jerry.
Oh, I'll give her a 4 out of 5 tidy whities.
Nice.
We
Nice.
call those facial wipes. Thank you.
Multi-use.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just very good comfort movie, and but I didn't give it the full 5 for the reason Michael had mentioned earlier. It's more of a holiday movie, so like watching it in the summer is kind of like, oh, that's okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I would still enjoy it probably in the summer, but those are my reasons. My tidy whities.
Tidy whities.
Tidy
Teddy Whities.
Go ahead, Deidre.
I'm about to give an unpopular opinion, and everyone's going to hate my ass.
Hey, you're
But-
fine.
I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 underrated and now extinct, very sadly, vibrating 80s beds.
Oh.
I miss those
Yeah.
beds. But
Contention.
I really loved Candy. I wish they would have fleshed out more of the story with his wife. And I think he it's such a strong role for him that it could have been played just a little bit better if he wasn't like always the butt of the joke. And I know that's part of the story, but like I wanted more flashbacks for the wives. I wanted more comments. I wanted more backstory at the end on the train where he's like, I'm going to take these 3 little obscure pieces and put together the big reveal that the wife is dead. I needed more than that. And I'm taking off 1 point for that bowl cut because I can't get over it. I just
It makes you spit over everything.
It's so bad.
It was the 80s.
So bad.
It was a different time.
So you wanted it to be more about Candy's character than Martin's character, really.
Yeah, Martin,
Yeah.
you see him devolve into an asshole and you see Candy just being this good saint, but I needed more of that story at the end.
More sooner.
Yeah. To backtrack slightly, I just got reminded to look up what was Kevin Bacon doing at this point. He had like Animal House, Friday the 13th.
Animal House was his very first movie.
Yeah, so he had that, Footloose, 40 Deuce, Diner. So that's the kind of stuff.
So he was well established at this point.
So funny story about Animal House. He actually didn't get to watch the movie because when he showed up to the premiere, the security guard did not believe that he was in the movie and threw him out and refused to let him back in.
Oh.
So he did not get to see the premiere of his very first movie.
Wow.
Then he went to Plane, Trains, and Automobile the same year. Also, End of the Line and Whitewater Summer came out. Quicksilver also. So yeah, he was definitely well established. I mean, shoot.
They were definitely, the audience was definitely going, oh, hey, that's Kevin Bacon.
That's Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
And then 3 years later, they'll know him for Tremors.
Nice.
Love Tremors. God damn, that's a good movie.
Not as good as that last one, huh? Or how many did they end up making?
We don't talk
7?
about it.
I like all the Tremors movies.
Yeah.
You even like the last one, do you?
I like
checked,
the ending
there
of the
were
last
4.
one.
You like the ending
I
of
think
the
there's
last
more than
one?
4 now.
I thought it was beautiful.
We
I've
didn't
never
get
stuck
Kevin
with
Bacon.
anything in my life.
Oh.
No, we didn't get anyone in that.
Oh, we're gonna have to talk about that sometime. That was such a steaming pile of shit.
All right, Tyler, wrap us up and get us out of here. We've had these people for a while.
There you have it. That was Planes, Trains, Automobiles. That's our big Thanksgiving special. Of course, it's a 3-course meal. We gave you Thankskilling 3. You've got Planes, Trains, Automobiles. And tomorrow on Cult Talk Conspiracy, you'll have a special Black Friday episode. So make sure you check that feed for that episode. But above all, I hope everyone had a fantastic or is having a fantastic Thanksgiving and safe Thanksgiving travels.
What's your favorite Thanksgiving side?
Ooh.
Oh, mashed potatoes.
Goddamn right, mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Mine's going to be an hors d'oeuvre, not a side. My mother makes these fabulous French bread, brie, and cranberry hors d'oeuvres.
We were not
Your
raised the
mama's
same.
fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a whole different kind of white then.
Just stepping out of the box.
That is definitely not. That is not our experience.
Yeah.
Green bean casserole.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
Dude.
Yes.
And the two
I hate green beans.
two dumbasses are sitting on the other end of the
Yeah.
couch over there together.
Love green, man.
Me too.
Green
It's
beans
like,
suck.
it's so good.
People better just get it before I get to it because I'll eat what's left.
Same. For real. Yeah.
That could be a meal by itself. I've done
Yep.
that as a meal.
Me
by
too.
itself.
Yes.
Recently, I've made it.
You could just
recently
you
for
can make
myself.
it just like what
me.
like
Yep.
yes
Mm-mm.
yes.
What is that, like croutons and green beans?
I think
They're like onions.
Onions,
the French onions.
mushroom.
Yeah, the French onions, cream of
Oh.
mushroom soup, green beans.
you get the really crunchy
See?
kind of
Yeah.
like the really crunchy kind.
See,
Bacon
my
in the
mom,
oven.
my mom would do green beans with bacon bits and
I forgot.
vinaigrette.
About green
Ooh, bacon bits is good in it. Yeah,
yeah.
but I
And
can
what?
definitely have it without bacon bits
Oh, yeah.
in the green
With
bean
the
casserole.
mac and cheese too. She makes a hell of
Oh,
mac
oh,
and
oh,
cheese.
oh. Ooh,
It's
I
just a
see.
cameo of the bacon.
Yeah.
It's just
I like-
bacon on everything.
Bacon on everything.
Yeah, I like getting like asparagus wrapped with bacon.
Oh, that is good.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Anyway, Thanksgiving sides. We need to go back to Thanksgiving
Yeah,
sides.
yeah.
I derailed. I'm sorry.
Who didn't shout theirs out?
Jerry.
Jerry and Deidre.
Oh, the oyster dressing.
Oyster?
Like a
What?
homemade oyster dressing.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I don't
I've
know.
never had that.
such a
Yeah.
No, not
I
at
never had
Thanksgiving.
oysters on
We were
Thanksgiving.
raised differently too, Jerry.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Different family traditions. Yeah, cool.
I think probably it's not even weird. Probably the weirdest meal we've had for Thanksgiving is like a deep fried turkey.
Yeah.
That's not weird.
That's not
Yeah,
weird.
it'd be like the
Deep
most.
frying it. Yeah.
Yeah, most people just do the oven cooking. We just
Yeah.
deep fried
I
it.
agree
We also
with
did
that.
duck one year, duck and turkey.
Have you ever done a turducken?
I was
No.
just about to ask
Shouldn't
that.
play God like that.
No.
God didn't want that. He would have made them as one being
Yeah.
if he
It's
wanted.
a
I-
bird
I-
inside a bird inside a bird.
But,
Supernatural had that right. It's like,
No,
but we rule this planet now. We can make things the way
Yeah.
that we want them to be.
Frankenstein.
You are a dark and evil god.
Yes.
I think the best way to prepare turkey is just like buy it and just throw it in the trash. Because turkey, I hate fucking turkey.
Definitely ham.
I'm
over
a ham
turkey.
guy.
Ham
No.
Give me that red meat. I don't want that
You know
white
why?
pussy meat. I want some fucking red meat. Give me
Pussy
some.
meat. That shit knocks you out. Nothing. There is nothing like a turkey
Yeah,
nap.
knocks you out like a
Tell you
bitch. That's
what.
what it does.
Oh my god. I have
No,
missed-
you know what's knocking you out is you have no daylight. Okay, at this time of year you have no fucking daylight.
Yeah.
That's what's knocking you out. Not
No.
the
Give me a big.
You tell
fucking
me how a turkey
ham.
sandwich puts a grown man down for 8
too
hours
dry.
before
Just
their
turkey meat's
bedtime.
too dry for me.
Because you eat like 8 plates of it.
Then you need to switch to dark meat if it's too dry.
Well, it's even still. It's not as juicy as ham ever.
No ham.
You use a roll, you put that turkey on there, some mashed potatoes with some of that gravy, and then you put it back, the other piece of that roll on there.
And you make
that is a sandwich. Oh, and sometimes you can throw some of the stuffing in there if you really want to be like bougie.
It's an itty
And
bitty
that,
Thanksgiving.
and that was Anna been
we
sitting
go.
here the whole time, everyone,
Yeah.
because you haven't heard from her.
Fresh from the cult of cooking.
Ooh, boy.
I was
Don't
gonna
even.
say I like a good stuffing, but I realized after and what that sounded like.
We all love it.
That's after the meal.
That's while I'm taking my turkey nap.
I disagree.
So,
How did you change it to gravy?
No. Keep that on the
That's after
side.
the stuffing.
so let us know your favorite side down in the comments below.
Yeah, for sure.
Follow us on Cult Talk Net across the board: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Just it's Cult Talk Net
Everywhere.
You can't miss.
Yeah, you're hearing this on all the podcast feeds today. Cult Talk Conspiracy, Cult of Lore, and Cult of Campbell. So make sure you go check out the other shows if you haven't yet. We got a lot of cool stuff in Cult Talk Net.
And if you're listening to us on one of the pod feeds, we can't see comments there really. So come over to the YouTube and let us know where you came from.
Yeah, or message
onto the
on-
YouTube
yeah.
video.
Yeah, or message
Like
on
I'm
Instagram.
here because Cult of Lore, or here because Cult of Campbell. Let us know where you're coming from.
Oh, that'd be neat. Yeah,
Come let us know on YouTube where you're coming from.
yeah, for sure.
That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
And we would very much appreciate your visit for the holidays. And
Yes.
thank you guys very much. I am very grateful for you this season, listeners.
Yes. I hope you guys
Especially
enjoyed
with
this.
the leaps and bounds we've been having a fortuitous year this year.
We have. And
Yeah.
it's all because of you guys. So thank you.
Yeah, we've really grown. We got a lot of cool stuff here. I never really realized how busy. This is probably busy this last quarter of the year is for us.
Oh, yeah.
With
Oh,
Cult
yeah.
of Campbell, now we have this Thanksgiving event, and then we got Christmas coming up. Like we have a shit ton of content coming out here this last 3
Thank
months.
Christ we had another editor help out.
Yeah.
Thank Christ
seriously.
Cult of Lore takes care of itself.
Yeah, Cult of Campbell took that hiatus, helped
Yeah.
us out a lot. I mean, been a lot of shit.
I get sleep at night, guys. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, not anymore. There's a goddamn cat scratching me at all hours of the night.
Oh no.
But anyway, follow us on all the things. Come talk to us. We're thankful for you. I've been Michael.
I've been Eric.
I've been Ty.
I've been Bailey.
I'm Ben.
I've got a good stuffing to make.
I'll see y'all later.
Bye.
Bye. Happy Thanksgiving.